A number of prisons in France have been targeted overnight, the Justice Minister says, including incidents outside prisons in Marseille and Toulon. It's reportedly being seen as a response to the government's crackdown on drug trafficking. Cars have been set alight in prison car parks, while gunfire was heard in Toulon. Earlier, I spoke to our reporter Chris Brockman, who told us the latest on the situation.
What you need to know is that the Justice Minister is going down to the prisons to see himself what happened. They're taking this very seriously for one particular reason. Last year, a drug baron was being transported between his jail and the courthouse to see a judge, and he was freed by a gang. They used machine guns at a point of the motorway where you pay a toll booth, and they killed 2 prison officers and injured 3 others using machine guns. They took away the drug baron, and they only captured him earlier this year down in Romania. So in fact, this is something which is very seriously. On top of that, there was a parliamentary report recently which said that drug gangs had managed to infiltrate the recruitment process of prison officers, and so they naturally had drug members who were prison officers themselves. And right now, as I'm talking, they're actually creating a special prison for the 200 most dangerous prisoners in France, or inmates, in the Normandy area, which will be open sometime at the end of the summer, so that precisely these most dangerous prisoners are really kept under real lock and barrel, and they can't speak to people in the outside world, or at least everything they're doing is better monitored.
These attacks overnight, a pretty bold move, a challenge to the government's authority, it would seem. What more, beyond that prison that you were just describing, is the government proposing to do?
Well, I think there's a widespread consensus that the drug issue in France is the biggest consumer of illegal drugs in Europe, and they're really washing ashore. I mean, where the prisons are, Toulon, Marseille, are huge port cities as well, and drugs are washing ashore there through the ports. They're coming up from Spain, from North Africa. Basically, they have a big drug problem here, and the first thing is they've got to try and tackle that better. But the problem is that the people who actually, the real drug barons who run all these groups, most of them are based abroad in North Africa, in the Middle East, even Thailand, places like that. And so getting hold of them is very, very difficult. So what they're doing is they're kind of tackling it from the bottom down, I guess, kind of the small dealers, but not the big barons who are abroad. And it's really trying to get them. And there's a lot of efforts, I know, by there's a special task force of judges now who are trying to get all these people extradited from these countries, mainly in North Africa, Dubai and Thailand, I said, and bring them to justice over in France. But until that happens, it's a big issue.
Chris Brockman reporting.